or your family members?
I mean, I don't know how to do that.
Oh, don't worry. I think once we go live, they'll start popping on.
Can you see me okay still? I'm in a small box now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you look nice, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Has the hairstyle grown on him?
He has a afro for sure. He keeps
Mm.
asking me to braid it for him, and I keep saying no. So I put us on live, and we should be going live any second.
Okay.
Just gonna check here. Greetings, greetings, greetings. We do have people that are logging in. Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening on Motivational Monday. Greetings, greetings. We do have people that are logging in. Turn my mute this out here. Yes, thank you so much, Soror. Okay. Greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. As you see, this is Motivational Monday with the special guest that I have the privilege of introducing to you by the name of Latisha Speaks. And you guys have seen all the hooplas that I have been giving her for the past 2 weeks now. And the reason being is this young lady has actually accomplished a milestone in her life journey. And I wanted her to share bits and pieces of what it was like for her to endure this amazing milestone that she has accomplished over the past 20 years. And just think, 20 years, where were you 20 years ago? And I remember, just what she was doing 20 years ago. I remember the times when I was stationed at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and we would go to the Sydney Park there and spend time walking and talking at the park. So we have a history of amazing memories. But this message that she has for you tonight is just for you. And I also have another special guest that's coming on board. You're going to be surprised when you see this one. And the reason this guest is on board is because of what he do in our world today and how he impacts the lives of not only those that he encountered, but everyone that's worldwide. So first of all, let me bring on um, this particular young lady, and then I will surprise you with another special guest. And there they are. Hi there, Letitia Marie Speaks and Dr. Ruben West. How are you this evening?
Hey, doing well. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. This is awesome.
Yes.
I'm absolutely fine as well. And this is exciting.
Listen, I know that both of you are very busy with world issues that you are currently resolving, and this day for me personally is a congratulations to our daughter Letitia Marie for her accomplishments in the military. I tell you, We're extremely proud of her and her accomplishments. And for some reason, I cannot do it by myself. She and I are so much alike in terms of getting teared up and so emotional when you think about the accolades and the challenges in life that one has endured. So this is why I had to invite the great one himself, to come on board and just basically like officiate this game, Letitia. So he has some questions that he's gonna ask you, and I just want to say thank you again, from the core of my heart, from the core of our heart, for your accomplishment, for sticking and staying, for being the leader that you have become. And as I say that, Dr. West, her father said, I didn't expect this. I did not expect this. It's kind of like that book that we read by Westmore and the other Westmore. One was a professional lawyer and the other one was a professional criminal. And he went to prison and asked Westmore, what was the difference between the two of us? We played ball together. We went to school together. We were like, when I grow up, this is my house. When I grow up, I'm gonna get this car. But you became a professional criminal, and I am a professional lawyer. What was the difference? What took place? And his friend that was incarcerated, you know what he said, Dr. West?
What did he say?
Expectations. I expected to go to jail because that's what everyone else in the hood did. So my husband was like, I did not expect this to be Latisha. She didn't clean her room. She didn't do her homework. She didn't. Oh, okay. So
No, it's true.
I am turning this over to you, Dr. West, because we did not expect this.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. First of all, to everyone watching, you're in the right place at the right time. And I know she's going to give you some valuable information. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to get your iPad, your notepad, your paper, your pencil, whatever you're going to take notes with. Why? Because the hand is the digital recorder for the mind. The mind is for thinking, and notes are to remember. And I guarantee you, with 20 years of service, she's going to say some things that you're going to want to remember. So, Latisha, I got to congratulate you on 20 years of service, but I'm going to get right to it. And the first thing I'm going to ask you is this: why the Air Force?
I will say, can you hear me okay?
Yes, definitely.
Initially, I thought maybe the Army, and my father really encouraged me. If I was going to go anywhere, it needed to be in the Air Force. I don't want to really, title him verbatim what he would say, but he would just say, no, you need to go to the Air Force. And I really didn't know that I was going to go this route. I honestly thought maybe in the hotel business, that's where I was going to go. But yeah, for some reason, I went to the recruiter and asked the question of, hey, could you guys use me? And I went in there. But yeah, it was really an encouragement from my father is why I joined it.
Now, you said your father said to go to the Army.
No, he wanted me to go to the Air Force. He did not. He did not want me to go into the Army.
Got it.
No exceptions.
No exceptions. Now, and I appreciate that. And either whether it's the Army, the Air Force, Navy, Marines, it doesn't matter. I want to say thank you for your service. But the other thing I want to say, and for the people who don't know, she just completed 20 years.
20 years.
So a lot of people go in for 5 years, 6 years, 8 years. They get the option to reenlist, and they opt out of that reenlistment. But there's some people like you, like your mother, who did 20 years. What was it that made you stay? Every time you got the option to choose whether you wanted to do it again or leave, what made you keep doing it again?
There was a sense of belonging I felt in the military. And I also, I started to learn a lot of skills, the public speaking and the helping people. It's frozen. Did it freeze on your end?
No.
Okay, I'll keep going then because you guys are frozen on mine. But really, it's the opportunities. There was no way that I was just going to hit the button without a plan of what I was going to do next. The school, being able to have no cost education. You know, you also promote. So the greater responsibilities is a great thing too. So I always said to myself, if I make it to 10 years and one day, I was going to go all the way. I was going to continue. And I did. No regrets whatsoever. And I'm still in this.
Yeah. Now here's the next question, because there is plenty of people who do 20 years and retire. And as a matter of fact, just like you say, you said, I make 10 years in one day, I'm going all the way. They say, when I hit 20 years, I'm out. Like when I hit retirement, I'm out. But there's something about the process that made you want to say, I want to do more. Because, and here's what I know. Some people come to a point in life and they either see it as the end or they see it as a new beginning. Here you are at 20 years in, you're ready to retire, and you don't see it as the end. You say, wait a minute, I'm ready for a new beginning. You're literally going to re-enlist. Is this correct?
I've already did. I did it on the 2nd of July.
And now you went into the Army?
No. I just re-enlisted in the Air Force.
Got it.
At my 20-year mark, I have the opportunity to go to my higher tenure. So I raised my hand and said, you know, there's more for me to do. There's more for me to do, and there's more for me to get out of this military. So I decided to raise my hand again and serve.
And so here's what I know, that after being in the military that long, you experienced some highs and lows, not necessarily highs and lows career-wise, but there's times that you were probably activated for active duty for wartime. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
What was that like for you? And then some people would think, man, if you've been to war, why would you keep doing that? Tell us, what was that like, and what makes you still want to do it?
My first deployment, and it was my most memorable because it was a bare base. So that just really means it was nothing but space and opportunity. And with the skills that we have and the crafts, we all came together and we actually made a tent city. And it was valuable, it was powerful, and it was right after 9/11 hit. And when 9/11 hit, I think there was just like this sense of pride and the things that you're willing to do to support the country. And I wore that with pride to go on that deployment. It's been rough. I had some that was a lot more calmer. I think the ones that are more meaningful are the ones where you're actually making an impact when you get there and build up an area that's never been there before. It's scary, but it's also when you get back and you see the reward, you feel the reward of what you've done there, of what you've accomplished. And I mean, it's also a driving force too. Yeah. I hope I answered that. I don't know if I did.
No, that's fine. Let me ask you this, because I know that for me, I was in the Gulf War in 1991. I remember being over in Saudi Arabia, and we were setting up our unit, and there was a group of about 10 guys that wedged this hole into the ground, and they raised the flag. And when they raised our flag, I don't even know how to explain it, but when they raised our flag, there was an overwhelming sense of pride. I mean, it's just like overwhelming. Here we are in another country. We're in our soil because it's our unit. They raised the flag, and for me, in a wartime, that was like one of my most proudest moments. I want to ask you, was there anything in a conflict situation that you saw that made you think, man, it's great to be an American soldier? What was that one thing or that one moment?
Oh my goodness. It's really hard for me to think of one right now. Can I get back to you on that?
You sure can. You sure can.
I have a pen and paper also, so when I want to make some great notes from you all, so I will get back to that.
No worries, because like literally you lived this life. And so,
Yeah.
20 years, it's hard to sum it all up in one, what was the most memorable moment. I was in 8 years. And so that was like my memorable moment. I did that wartime, and then my enlistment came up. Let me ask you this, though. I'm sure that if you put on your dress uniform, it's probably riddled with ribbons. It's probably riddled with ribbons. Was there, and for those of you who don't know, all of those ribbons represent awards or honors that a soldier is given. My
Yeah.
question to you, Latisha, is there any one that stands out? Is there any ribbon that when you got that ribbon, it meant something special? I mean, they all meant something special, but looking back now over 20 years of service, was there any one that stood out?
I have two.
Got it.
The first one that I would pick is the Iraqi freedom, going over there and supporting the efforts in Iraq when I did that. The second one is marksman. I'm super proud of that because I got, rifle and small arms, and it's not often that you see that happen. And when we have a requirement to shoot the weapon, and I'm always picked on because I'm short, and so my positions might be a little bit unique, if you will, but in the end, when I hear that I got expert, it's pretty rewarding. So I kind of wear that proudly too. But the most humbling is spending my time over there in Iraq. I was in Balad, Iraq there. So
Yeah, I love it. Let me tell you this. So many times people question females in the military,
yes,
and they question their ability to serve, and they question, do they belong in combat units? And they have all of these different positions on it. But you make a statement through your service. I mean, the very fact that you're there, the very fact that you've done the job, the very fact that you say, hey, wait a minute, even when I shoot, I may be unorthodox, but I still shot expert, right?
yes,
So there's
absolutely.
something about your ability that says we can do it too. How great is it for you? And what do you feel like you want to say to the other young women who may be thinking about, I would like to do it, but I don't know if I can? What would you say to them?
It's okay to doubt things. It's okay to question stuff. But at the end of the day, don't waste too much time doubting and not acting. Sometimes you might say that you want to paint your bedroom a certain color. You don't know what color, right? Do you want to do it orange or purple or whatever? You just know you want to color it.
Right.
But don't waste so much time and it's just still a white wall 5 years later. You paint that wall orange, and if you feel like you do not like that color, change it.
Come on.
Change it. But you just really have to you have to take action. It's really important that sometimes you can fall. Falling forward is better. But you got to get back up, and you have to make that decision. When you're doubting things, just try it. Try it.
I love that. Well, you're absolutely right about that. Sometimes you don't know until you try. And
Yes.
so now I want you to answer this, because here's what I know. When you do something, you give other people belief that they can do it. And so we're talking about, you've done 20 years, and there's somebody right now 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 in a young age, and they're looking for a career move. And they hear some people say, man, the military is a great option. And the same time, they'll hear somebody else say, whatever you do, don't go into military. But I want you to express to them, what was it that made it great for you? Because you've been in 20 years. What made it great for you, and why should they consider the military?
Like I spoke, the benefits in the military is wonderful. Medical, you got the education side, you're getting a paycheck. There's also growth requirements. You have to, do certain things in order to promote, to get rank, to have that added responsibility. one of the things that I think is super important, though, is to have that choice and make the choice yourself. You know, you can have recommendations all day, um, but at the end of the day, you have to be happy with what you're choosing to do for your life. At the end of the day,
Yeah, yeah, that's absolutely true. Because in the end, um, the worst thing to do is live a life of regret because
yes,
you did everything else somebody else wanted you to do,
yeah.
and you never stepped out there and did what you want to do. What is your military occupational specialty, your MOS? What is your job in the military?
It's titled Operations Management,
Mhm.
and I'm a civil engineer. 3E6X1 is the my you say MOS, it's our AFSC in the Air Force.
Got it.
So in my job, we actually uh, we handle like command and control. So in the civilian side, it would be something equivalent to FEMA. If something hits the fan, we operate the unit control center, and we're the middleman between the craftsmen and our leadership, the commander and team. Um, so on the same side, we handle the requirements. So anything that's happening on the base, the infrastructure, say you have some electricity that went out, you'll call into my area or you'll submit your request into us, and we process those requirements and get it to the craftsmen so that they can get out there and do the work. So.
Mm. Now, someone looking at you now, like me looking at you now, and this is the first time I've met you, and you
Mhm.
look like the perfect soldier. I mean, you're 9 to the front, 6 to the rear. Uniform is nice. You're the perfect soldier. But what was it like before you went in? Because people are looking at you saying, "Well, yeah, it's easy for her. I mean, she's perfect military." But
Oh,
you didn't go in that way. You know what I'm saying? So, what
absolutely
was
not.
it like before you came in, and how was it to make that transition into a soldier?
Um, Airmen for me. Um, I left my house. I was around the age of 16,
Yeah,
and so I partied hard.
yeah.
I didn't have any rules, no regulations. As far, you know, I mean, my parents wanted to instill a lot, you know, still say no, you got a curfew, but it just didn't happen that way. So I definitely I know what it's like to be in the streets and party and not have to look at a clock, not have responsibility. And I think because I did that at a young age, I was able to maybe grow tired of that scene. I wanted something different. I know what it's like to be on house arrest. I had a block on the ankle. I had probation that I had to report to beforehand, but something in me just knew um, that wasn't what Latisha is here on this earth to do.
Mm,
Not I wasn't going to take the easy way out. Even in high school, there was a lady, and she's a true person in my heart. Her name is Marty Ritchie. She would take I mean, I don't know if you would call them the challenged high schoolers,
mhm,
and just give them opportunities. She gave us a trip to Canada. She's like, hey, if you do good in school, we can offer you this. She helped me get my first payroll job as
mhm.
I worked at the zoo as a ticket clerk there. So I think it's really important to have mentors. So I don't know if we were going to go into that conversation, but yes, I definitely was a knucklehead.
Mhm.
Um, and I had a hard head. And I think that was part of what led my father to think that this was not going to be his daughter. I think he had more concerns for me during that time. So.
Yeah, but there was something because, like, as you lay out the foundation beforehand, and then
Mhm.
transferring into a system that's full of structure, full of responsibility, full of you have to be here at a certain time. Why did you make that transition? Was it because everybody was doing it? Like, what made you want to make that transition?
No, it wasn't because the people in my surroundings. As a matter of fact, it was I had relocated from New York because that's where I was. That's where I grew up. I relocated down to um, North Carolina. And, like I said, the hotel, I was working there as a hotel clerk, and I kind of liked the job. I feel like if I, stayed 20 years in there, maybe I could have been a GM or something there. But I transferred down to North Carolina and was a hotel clerk during that time. And it wasn't, it didn't click to me. It wasn't a vibe that I felt like was for me. So I decided to go to the recruiting office and say, hey, could you guys use me?
Mm.
I just asked that question, like, what can I do to help you all out? Not knowing that they were in turn helping me out.
Got it. So then you decided I'm going in. You picked the job, that, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
As you progressed through the Air Force, was there any promotion that really stood out to you? I mean, because I've imagine you've done a number of promotions, but was there one that really stood out to you?
Yes. And I will say this, it wasn't that easy. When I went to the recruiting office, I had to lose weight. I was able to pass my test, but I did not make the weight requirement. So I actually started running around in the housing area to get more fit. And when I did go in, I went in open general. So I went to basic training and I had to go, through the boot camp, but I wasn't to find what my job was going to be until the very end.
Got it.
And when I received the job, it was to become a police, security forces. And I had to talk to somebody because I said, wait a minute, I'm not out to save the world. I used to run from the cops. This is not what I envisioned to do in the military. So I actually I went back and talked with one of the assignment counselors, and they were like, well, trainee speaks, what you're going to get next, we're going to change the job for you, but what you get next is what you take, and I said, all right, as long as I'm not a cop, no offense now, because
Right.
I have stories about that, to where my appreciation for the force is all the way up there. I really do appreciate them. I had the opportunity to work with security forces on several different levels, and we couldn't be who we are without them.
Yes.
Civilian and military. But then I got my new assignment, and that was a civil engineer operations manager. So yes, I was blessed with that. And what else? I kind of lost track. Where were we with that?
Promotion? Was there a promotion that really stood
Oh
out?
yeah. The promotion that stood out the most for me was making E7 Master Sergeant.
Yes.
And that one was really important to me because it was really my father's wish. He wanted me to meet or exceed his rank.
Got it.
And I've had some setbacks to where I wasn't even promotion eligible at one point. So getting that one, it sealed the deal. And yeah, that one was the most memorable for me.
Perfect. Let me ask you this. And first of all, I wanted to say thank you for being on. Thank you for your candor. I mean, time goes fast. We're almost at 30 minutes, a half an hour. It goes really fast. But you have a lot of content, and you're very authentic. And so I love that you don't try and sugarcoat it. You just tell it like it is. Most people wouldn't say, hey, look, I had the thing on my ankle. I didn't like structure. So I appreciate that, because that's the kind of things that help people, that authenticity. There's one thing I want to ask you before we go. Leadership. You've certainly had an opportunity to be in leadership positions. Tell me, like, maybe your two most important lessons you've learned in leadership while being in the military.
Transparency. It's really important to be transparent. I think with my airmen, with my peers. Just as I'm being honest with you and just telling my story, I didn't have to cover these things, but I think it shines light in a different way. So I think it's very important for transparency. I think communication is important. Um, Communication is the bridge between personal relationships and professional. So I think a great leader is one who communicates, even the tough communication.
Yeah.
Because feedback goes up and down the chain.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So really just being transparent and communicating are the two most important things that I have learned, for sure.
Well, thank you so much. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. She said transparency and communication. When you're transparent, people can see in you, and then
Yes.
they'll allow you to help them see them through. So you got to be
Mm-hmm.
transparent. And then the communication. She said communication is the key, and I absolutely believe it. Listen, I just want to say again, on behalf of all of us, thank you for your service. For your commitment to the service. And like I said, some people go all the way, 20 years and retire. You said, I'm not done yet. There's something about it that you're still going after, and I commend you. The other thing is, I commend you for breaking the stereotype. I commend you for being not only a female in the military, but a mature Black female in the military, representing for all these young girls that wonder, can I do it? Is it possible? Would I be able to do it? You stand flat-footed right there saying, hey, it doesn't matter what your past is. It doesn't matter what you used to think. If you put your mind to it. Notice she said, I had to do some changing, and it wasn't all easy, but she did it. And so I commend you on that as well. There's so many lessons that we can learn from you, I'm sure. And one of the things I have to tell your mother is she has to interview you again. She has to interview you again. I know there's so much there. And as a matter of fact, I do my own show, and I'm going to make arrangements to have you on my show. It's called
I love that.
It's called Voices of Change, and I interview people from around the world who not only create change in their own life, but help create changes in the lives of others. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share this space with you.
Yes.
But if there was a parting word, I always love parting words. If there was something that you want to tell to the people that are watching right now, what would you tell them? What would you say?
Oh, man. First of all, I want to say thank you for the questions. I really do appreciate that. I love sharing my story. And to my mom, thank you very much for this opportunity. And yes, we have to have a round two, because I didn't cover enough about you that I would love to go through. I think at the end of the day, sometimes you have to, there is power in silence. So growing silently is important. A seed grows with no sound, but a tree falls with a lot of noise. So sometimes you got to move silently, and then you be able to explode with all of the important things that you want to share with the world. So sometimes growing silently, I think that's one of the things that I had to learn a little later in my career.
That's fantastic. You said a seed grows in silence, but a tree falls with a lot of noise.
Yes, absolutely. The same is with destruction. Destruction is loud. It has noise, but creation is very quiet. So
very powerful. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Betty. Can we invite you back, man? Thank you for allowing me the privilege to interview this amazing young woman. I mean, I'm blown away by her poise, her grace, her candor, and her professionalism. And like I said, she's definitely the kind of person I would love to interview on my show, Voices of Change. So I just commend you.
And I do owe you an answer too, so we'll have to continue with that.
You already know. I won't forget it too when you come back. Now that you're here, let's go ahead back to this answer. Dr. Betty, take it away.
Yes, Dr. Ruben West, thank you so much. I knew you knew what questions to ask, to perk her up, and honestly, she did do a phenomenal job, and I am so honored. I can't wait to see you on Dr. West's show next. You did a great
Yeah.
job, and again, we are so proud of you for exceeding the expectations. How's that?
Yes. Yes. Thank you so
So,
much, Ma. I
yes,
appreciate that.
yes, love you to pieces, and we'll
I
be
love
back.
you too.
Okay, thanks, Dr. West. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Master Sergeant, soon to be First Sergeant Latisha Marie.
Woo.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
See you all.
Okay. Have a great day.